going? Okay. Next Reddit question. Is Acton Academy a cult? Well, about 4 years ago, we had a wonderful hero. He was the youngest in his family, and he came to Acton Academy. And his mom, after some time, she said, I don't really know. It's kind of like a cult around here, all the different language and stuff. And I chuckled and we talked through it. And that is one of the questions in Reddit because of the different lingo. So I also belong to a religion that is accused of being a cult. And according to the definition of cult, which is the stem word of culture, almost any organization could be called a cult. So the idea or the perception that Acton Leadership Academy may be cult-like is probably accurate. And I say that as the owner and defender of this beautiful, wonderful place that I love and have given my life to building for my own children and then to the other children that have joined our academy. Let's just talk about culture for a minute. Again, cult comes from the word cult, and cult from the word culture. So anytime you have a very strong culture, the culture is defined first and foremost by language. And language and the words we use inherently impact the way that we associate within that setting. I hope that makes sense. So we have very specific language at Acton because we want to embody a very specific type of culture. One example is we do not have teachers, we have guides. And we say guides, not teachers. And it's not just like we're pretending that the teachers, like they're teachers and we just call them guides. It's not that. They are not teachers. They are guides. They are here to guide the heroes on their own hero's journey. And in order to do that, they use a different set of skills and tools than a teacher does. So we're not just calling them something else. We expect them to be something else, to show up in a different way than a teacher. If we called them teacher, it actually wouldn't be being honest. So we are deliberately using language to try and paint a more honest picture of what this place is. So we have studios here. I am sitting in our Discovery studio. This is for age groups 4 to about 8. So mixed ages together. Sorry. And it's a studio because it's not a classroom. It is a studio, which is a creative space where you're able to express yourself and do projects and be a part of an experience with other creators. So we're not just calling it a studio to pretend it's different than a classroom. It actually fundamentally is different than a classroom. There is a lot of lingo at Acton, and it's just chosen very deliberately. Another example is we don't really have rules, we have guardrails. We have guardrails because they indicate that if you bump up against the guardrails, you step back in them to be a part of the game. Again, think of the sports analogy. If you step out of the guardrails, you are wanting to play a different game, and that doesn't work here. Rules indicate that there is an authority over you, and that goes against actually what we believe this place to be. We fiercely trust children so that they gain the confidence, character, and real-world skills they need to find their calling and change the world. We can't claim to fiercely trust children if we have a list of overbearing rules that we will be the authoritarian over. Now, that's not to say we don't have guardrails. We have guardrails, we have expectations, and we have commitments that we make to one another to create a certain kind of culture. So if the word cult scares you, that's okay. What isn't here, and I would defend that it is less present here than in most educational environments, is a lack of power by the people that are a part of the community. And that, to me, is what a cult indicates, that there is someone taking away freedom and power from the people in the community so that they no longer have a choice. And Acton Academy is a place of abundant choice. Oh my gosh, sorry. Our whole goal is to give as many choices as possible so that your child knows what to do with choices, so that they make a choice and understand the consequences of that choice they made, as much natural consequence as we can of the choice they made. So they're prepared when they have to make all of the important decisions. The children now are the leaders. They are leaders already, and they get to practice being a leader at Acton. That is why we are guides. That's why we call them heroes, because they literally here step into a different world, a world that is different from what the rest of the world thinks about children. Children here have power. They have a voice, and they learn how to use it. And they have the opportunity to fail and bounce back from those failures, because we believe that failure is a key to them becoming who they need to become. We believe that them having the opportunity to dream their dreams is vital for them to fulfill who they are meant to become. And we believe that they should have as many choices as possible so they can become who they're meant to become. I want to speak a little bit about choices before I move on. As heroes grow up in Acton, they get more choices. So I'm in our youngest studio right now, and the goal of each studio is to balance responsibility shown with freedom. So in this studio, there are certain freedoms available to them that they earn by showing responsibility. And in the next studio, so think of it like a stair step. In the next studio, they have greater freedoms available to them because as they get older, they should be showing additional responsibility for how they do their schoolwork, for how they show up as a leader and a friend in the studio, for taking on responsibilities that are outside of their normal requirements. Greater responsibility equals greater freedom. And as they get into middle school and high school, the same things. And they've shown themselves, most importantly, that they are able to handle that freedom. They become more self-driven. They become able to handle their schedule and balance their time, and not to perfection, but to a place where they feel confident to move forward. Confidence is not built without choosing and doing hard things, and that's why things are very different around here. They've got to be, or we cannot accomplish our mission. So if you have more thoughts or more questions about this culture that we're building intentionally, please reach out to me. I would love to chat with you about this, because at the heart of what we do at Acton Leadership Academy is we are growing leaders. And these young people, they understand culture. They understand how to build culture because they're doing it. I showed this in another one of my Reddit questions. They're building culture. They're defining what it means to be kind and to work hard and to be truthful. They're declaring that we're heroes, we're leaders, we create peace, we change the world. And how we change the world is literally through language. That is how we build a world. And so our intentional focus on language here at Acton and with the heroes, they choose their words intentionally, helps them know how to be a leader. And my challenge and invitation to you, if you're wondering about this, is to think about how the language in your family creates the culture of your family. And this is true in not just families, but in work, in politics, in communities. And if you want even a little more proof, think about Texas, the culture of Texas. I live in Texas now. I didn't grow up here. And we create the culture of Texas with the words. Everything's bigger in Texas. We just say it, and then everyone believes it. Because that's how language works, and that's how culture works. Fascinating. Again, I will geek out about this with anyone who wants to talk about culture with me, or if you have more questions, please reach out. That's what we're here for.